Hi everyone, a big welcome back to my channel. So it is now March. We are a little bit late to the party, but let's talk about the best books that I read in 2022. Can you believe that this is the 6th year that I have done a best books of the year video? I dedicate a lot of my life to books. So as always, these are my favourite books that I read for the first time in 2022. They didn't necessarily all come out in 2022. We have 6 books to talk about. They are the ones that really stood out to me. We have literary fiction, naturally. We also have a classic, translated fiction, and a poetry collection. It was honestly such a good reading year for me. I really need you all to go out and read these books. Please and thank you. Before we get into this, please can we all just appreciate how cute my nails are? Can you see the little smileys? They're so cute. So first up, we have The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is a Victorian classic telling the story of a drawing master named Walter as he travels to Cumberland, falls in love with his beautiful young student Laura, and then becomes embroiled in a ghosty, mysterious, sinister plot. This is so lush. My first Wilkie Collins novel, and now I have a new favourite Victorian author. Apparently this was the first ever novel to combine gothic horror with psychological realism. Don't quote me on that. The plot is engaging and twisty and dramatic as fuck, exploring themes of identity and sanity set between English country houses and the madhouse, and plenty of moonlit country lane walks. The vibes in here are super suspenseful and eerie. There's a fab cast of characters in here, beautiful and charming and sneaky and malicious. The central romantic relationship in here is meh, but the female friendships and relationships are awesome. Laura's half-sister Marion is a particular highlight. I really enjoyed the writing itself. Wilkie Collins' prose just seemed to flow into my brain quite easily. I found it to be really engaging and fun to read. This is such a well-crafted, entertaining, and really clever read. I loved it. My next favourite read of 2022 was Ohio by Stephen Markley. This is an epic American literary novel following the experiences of 4 former high school classmates from northeastern Ohio as they converge on their hometown one night in 2013. There's Bill, a passionate activist with a mysterious package strapped under his truck. Beautiful and fragile Tina, who becomes involved with the washed up ex-captain of the football team. Dan, a shy veteran home from Iraq who is meeting up with his high school sweetheart. And Stacy, a young doctor who is confronting her family and whose first love has disappeared. This book is truly epic. It is everything that you would want from a chunky literary novel. Set over the course of a single evening, it is super zoomed in, an incredible study of these 4 characters in this specific moment in time and everything that led them to this point. Set amongst the wider backdrop of the Great Recession and the opioid crisis and the reverberating effects of 9/11, this is a scathing social and political commentary on the modern Rust Belt of America. The writing is also impeccable. I was super impressed by the assuredness of it. Assuredness? Is that a word? And then there's the plot, which I was super surprised by. Real edge of your seat, suspense level shit. It really drives the narrative forward, working up to this crazy climax by the time the night is over. This is a deeply tragic and quite depressive book. There's a real darkness to it, but I really appreciated the frankness of that. And I do also just love a sad book, let's be real. This ticked so many boxes for me, and it gave me a really impactful reading experience. It's awesome. Next up, we have Paradise by Fernanda Melchor, translated by Sophie Hughes. Translated from Spanish, this one tells the story of two poor teenage Mexican boys who work in a luxury housing complex. One is lonely, overweight, addicted to porn, and becomes obsessed with an older married woman from the complex. The other dreams of quitting his grueling job as a gardener and escaping his overbearing mother and his narco-filled village. Each facing the seeming impossibility of getting what they deserve, the two boys hatch a desperate and gruesome scheme. I cannot get this book out of my head. It has been seared into my brain and it will not leave. There is so much to reflect on in here. The exploration of Mexican society and the fragility of it was fascinating. Themes of classism and hyperviolence and racism and teenage hardships were so cleverly and compellingly handled. And the writing itself, oh my god, this is a torrent of chilling, unrelenting prose. Stream of consciousness style, veering off in different directions, hurtling and hurtling and hurtling towards this insane end. As the reader, you don't understand how you've got to where you've got to before you've got there, which so cleverly mirrors the experiences of these two boys. It is so smart. Truly one of the most captivating and totally intoxicating reading experiences I have ever had. This author and translator pairing is so good. This is insane work. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget this novel, honestly. Next up, we have Alexa, What Is There to Know About Love by Brian Bilston. This is a contemporary poetry collection exploring love in all of its forms, from romantic love to familial love to love on the internet to how love plays into literature and politics. Brian Bilston has previously been described as the poet laureate of Twitter. He is known for his super short and quirky and humorous and tender poetry, and this is him at his best. I couldn't really love this collection more. The poems in here are super accessible, instantly gratifying. They're infused with such a warmth and coziness and delightful humour. This is truly the funniest poetry collection I have ever read. Brian Bilston is such a talent at wordplay and playing around with structure and using rhyme and rhythm in such a fun way. He's an amazing talent. While this collection is overwhelmingly sweet, Brian Bilston also isn't afraid to address harder hitting topics such as the insanity of British politics, the refugee crisis, and homelessness. I really appreciated this, and I love the balance he strikes in here. There is just such an authenticity that exudes from his poetry, whether it's humorous or serious. This collection just fills me with joy and hope and inspiration. I can go back to it at any time, pick a random poem, and I'm left smiling. Reading this collection improved my life, okay? Next up, my second favourite read of 2022 was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a literary novel which, simply put, tells the story of Sadie and Sam, two kids who meet in a children's hospital and then go on to become best friends and create games together over the next 30 years. This book has been insanely popular. It is a favourite read of a lot of people's from 2022, and for good reason. This is the quintessential character-focused, relationship-exploring, decade-spanning literary goodness that I just live for. This was a dream of a novel for me. On one level, it is a love letter to gaming, but on a deeper level, it is a love letter to friendship and connection. Sadie and Sam's relationship totally stole my heart. It is one of the most convincing and touching depictions of platonic love that I have ever read. This novel is also incredibly well-rounded on basically every other level. The plotting and pacing are brilliantly executed. The writing is consumable and accomplished. This is Gabrielle Zevin's 8th novel, I believe, and you can really tell. Also, this cover, this Japanese art graphic retro text combo is so stunning and so highly commercial. This is smart publishing. This is now one of those books that I just want everyone to read. I think so many people would enjoy it. This is going to be a great reread in a couple of years' time, that is for sure. And finally, my favourite read of 2022 goes to The Queen of Dirt Island by Donal Ryan. This is Donal Ryan's newest literary novel set in Tipperary Island, following 3 generations of women from the Aylward family, all living under one roof. Donal Ryan is one of our greatest living writers. I will die on that hill. This isn't a massively long novel and the chapters are super short, kind of reading like little vignettes, providing a window into these women's lives. There is drama and tragedy and comedy. There is fury and loss and unwavering love. These characters feel so real. They are so wonderfully flawed, and you experience everything right there with them. Everything that is explored in here is so understated and perceptive and achingly beautiful. I have never experienced so much tenderness and genuine human understanding from an author before. As always, Donal Ryan's prose in here is to die for. It is deeply lyrical and captivating, just beautiful. I also love the countryside setting in here and the subtle but frank exploration of small towns and specific times and places. It is so spot on. This was just such an incredible, powerful reading experience. And the more time that goes on, the more this just stays with me, as all of his novels do. Timeless and elegant, basically perfection. Donal Ryan is a once-in-a-generation writer for sure. So there we go. Those were my favourite reads from 2022. Talking about them all together just makes me realise how amazing my reading was in 2022. These books are so good. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and how you found them. I would love to know. And also, obviously, please let me know what your favourite reads of 2022 were. Thank you so much, as always, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Really looking forward to chatting to you guys down below in the comments, and I'll hopefully see you super soon in a new video. Bye everyone.